before we really get started. We are conducting this meeting by electronic means as permitted by the open meeting law because of extraordinary circumstances. For this meeting, the method used is a telephone bridge. The meeting is also being live streamed and the public can see those of us in chambers. This meeting will be recorded. Here are a few guidelines to help ensure this meeting will proceed smoothly. Everyone other than the person speaking should put their microphone on mute. Please direct all questions and requests to speak through me. When you want to make a comment, ask a question, or participate in a discussion, please ask for recognition in a way that allows me to identify you. Because conversations among people by electronic means can be cumbersome, we should limit our discussions to the business items and issues directly related to the business items. Please refrain from talking over other speakers. When you participate in discussions, please speak directly into the receiver microphone so I, the other council members, and the public who may be monitoring the meeting can hear all discussions. When you make a motion or second a motion, please state your name so I know a motion has been made and seconded, and the recording secretary can record this information for the minutes. Because we are conducting the meeting electronically, all votes must be taken by roll call. I, the other council members, and the public must be able to hear your votes. When your name is called for each vote, please clearly state aye or nay or abstain so I can determine whether a majority voted in favor of the motion. During the course of the meeting, if you leave the location from which you are participating, please inform me of your absence so at that time I can ensure a quorum continues to exist during the meeting. Are there any questions before we proceed? All right, if not, I'm going to take a roll call to ensure that we have a quorum.
Atlas Ingebretson. Okay. Barber.
Here.
Chambliss.
Here.
Cummings.
Here.
Ferguson.
Here.
Fredson.
Here.
Gonzalez.
Here.
Sterner.
Here.
Zurin.
Here.
Hello, this is Linnea.
Thank you, council member.
Thank you very much. We do have a quorum. So with that, I will bring this meeting to order. Our first order of business is approval of the agenda. I recommend amending the agenda with removing the item of approval of the minutes. We can do that item. Those were the minutes from the March 9th, 2020 meeting. We can do those at a future meeting. With that, did anyone else have any changes or additions to the agenda? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Chair Barbara, I motion this is Councilmember Sterner to approve the agenda as amended.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Atlas Ingebretson, seconding.
Very good. Any other discussion? All right, Jenna, could you call the roll to approve the agenda as amended?
Atlas Ingebretson. Aye or nay?
Aye.
Barber.
Aye.
Chambliss.
Aye.
Cummings.
Aye.
Ferguson.
Aye.
Fredson.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Sterner.
Aye.
Zurin.
Aye.
There you go. Thank you very much. And so we've gone through our first round, so now we know how the rest of the meeting will go. We are going to take and have brief reports from both MTS Director and General Manager Koistra. So if Director Thompson.
Madam Chair and members, thank you. We're going to give updates on services and changes that have occurred with response to the emergency. I will talk about the contracted transit services. In terms of ridership changes, Metro Mobility ridership has declined in the range of 60 to 80% from the normal trips that are made in a given week. with the larger declines on weekends than weekdays. Transit Link ridership is down roughly 70% from its normal average. At this point, all of our contractors have reported that they have enough staff to work and meet system demand for Metro Mobility, Transit Link, and for our contracted fixed route services. We have made several changes to operations in order to comply with recommendations for social distancing and protecting our passengers and drivers. Both Metro Mobility and Transit Link have stopped doing shared rides. That's a major change in operations. So all passengers, when they book a trip, we complete that trip without picking up another passenger, which is normally what we would do for these services. So these changes have resulted in the need for more drivers for the number of trips that we're making than what it normally would be if we had shared rides. So though our ridership is down considerably, we do have extra demand above typical for that ridership level for drivers because we are not doing shared ride. However, we have sufficient drivers to meet that demand, and that change in service has worked well and is well received by passengers. On Sunday, we began providing a new service with Metro Mobility and with Transit Link on Wednesday, in that we are delivering food to customers that purchase their food online and then book that trip for us to deliver the food to them rather than transporting them to the grocery store and transporting them back. The process for this food delivery is that the customer orders the food online through whatever retailer they would like to, and they pay for it. Then they book a ride through our system where it's just the delivery of the goods, and they provide us their booking or their receipt number for the service. We believe that this is a service that can work well within our system, and we may have enough capacity to expand it beyond just the Metro Mobility and Transit Link customers. We delivered our first food delivery yesterday. We had just a couple passengers. We're expecting that it'll pick up more as there's more knowledge of this. It has been well received by many of our customers as a needed source. We are also picking up pet food upon request for their pets if needed, but we are not able to pick up prescription medications. And so for a variety of reasons, we are not allowed to get the medications prescription, but we also feel that there are good alternatives for customers to have those medications delivered, but we'll continue to monitor that situation to see if there is a need that needs to be fulfilled somehow for our customers. In terms of operations, of course, all our contractors have dramatically increased the cleaning of buses and anything that the customers come in contact with. For Metro Mobility, this includes cleaning buses after providing trips to customers, in addition to daily cleaning. If there is an identified risk of a contact with a customer or a driver that has symptoms of COVID-19, the buses themselves are pulled from service and cleaned and are sort of quarantined for a matter of time. And we have plenty of buses available to continue this operation of pulling them out of service. At this point, our contractors have indicated that they have sufficient cleaning supplies for this change in operation. We've also continued our coordination with our suburban transit providing partners. We are in continuous communication with these providers. We share information about changes that the council is making in services, changes, and anything that may impact them, and they share information with us. All suburban transit providers have reduced their services this week, with some starting today and others starting on Wednesday when Metro Transit reduces. Suburban transit providers have reported significant declines in riderships. One of their main ridership services is the express and commuter service, and their declines have been similar to what we've experienced on our similar services in MTS and I believe Metro Transit. So that is an update on our ridership and transit operations. One other report I would make is that last week at TAB voted to extend the deadline for the regional solicitation by 1 month at the request of several members, local agencies that had staff redeployed to deal with the emergency, and those staff had been working on submitting applications. TAB will take up this issue again in April to determine if another extension is necessary, but at this point, regional solicitation applications are due on May 15th. Madam Chair and members, that concludes my report. I'd be happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Director Thompson. Does anyone have any questions, any council members for Director Thompson?
Chair, this is Cummings. I have a question.
Councilmember Cummings.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Is it the Metromobility drivers themselves who are doing the cleaning of the vehicles?
Madam Chair and members, yes, the drivers are involved in that cleaning, especially during the day when they do cleaning after a trip. In the evening, if there's extra cleaning, there may be maintenance staff also at the bus garages that assist with cleaning.
Follow-up, Madam Chair?
Go ahead.
Cummings, can I make a follow-up question?
Yes, go ahead, Councilmember.
Thank you. Are there specific guidelines that the operators have received on correct cleaning techniques and so forth?
Madam Chair, Councilmember, we have the contractor. We have shared the information that we have given to our providers in terms of what CDC or Department of Health recommendations are, and then we've also shared an identified list of cleaning supplies and best practices as we've learned them, and they have shared that among the various contractors, and so they are cleaning at levels similar across, I think, going best practices and recommendations from Department of Health or CDC.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then did I hear Councilmember Atlas Ingebrigtsen?
Yes, but that was my question too. Thank you.
Very good. All right. Are there any other questions from other council members? If not, we'll turn it over to Metro Transit General Manager Koistra.
Madam Chair and council members, I'll just start by saying that we have a structure in place as they do across the council of an incident command center that we meet daily and throughout the day to talk about decisions that need to go forward and new information that we're receiving. And that incident command structure reports in on a daily basis to the council's incident command structure, and that works with the state. And so many of the decisions and the recommendations we're making are running through that structure and then come back to us, and we execute and implement those decisions that start with our recommendations. I want to make a shout out to the folks managing the incident command structure, Brian Funk and Vince Pellegrin, who's spending hours and hours and hours managing through the many details, as you could imagine, that are behind some of the protocols we have to change and the decisions we have to make, and personnel issues that have to be made as well. But it's not just incident command; it's also service planning, it's finance, it's communications and marketing. It's an effort across the agency, and I can't say enough about it. At the center of that effort are our operators, and I have to give a special acknowledgement to operators who are providing the services on the street and placing themselves at most risk of exposure. And I would guess that their risk of exposure is greatest of any other essential service currently being provided under the governor's orders right now. So I visited the operators, all the garages and OMF facilities middle of last week, and I can't say enough about the can-do attitude I received from them and the commitment that they have. One operator said to me, "This isn't a job, it's a calling," and I think that reflects a lot of what the attitude is out at the garages. And that's a reflection on the operators themselves. It's a reflection on the management and the supervisors out there. All our decisions are driven by the public health interests and doing our part to flatten the curve. difficult to make decisions about reducing service or calling for essential services only. But if that's what it takes to support the public health interests of the state, those are the decisions that we are making, and that is the core bottom line of any analysis we do when we make recommendations on changes. Our key messages are that transit now continues for the sake of essential workers only, and we define that as healthcare workers, caregivers, pharmacy workers, grocery workers, and other essential workers. It's there for people getting their essential needs like groceries, filling prescriptions, and other basic essential needs. If those issues weren't there, there would not be a need for transit service right now. There would not be a call for it because it's still one of the few public gathering spaces that's available. When people are riding, we're reminding them that this is an essential service only. It should be used for essential purposes only, that they need to honor social distancing guidance with both other riders and the operators, minimize touch on surface, do the other hygiene requests such as cover coughs and wash hands and so forth. As of Friday, our ridership was down 61% on bus. It was down 63% on Blue Line. Green Line was down 58%. North Star was down 91%. The attendance of our operators is also declining, as you might imagine, in this situation. And when we're encouraging people to stay home if they have any signs of illness, our operator shortage was our operator sick calls were 150 today, and that's, I believe, about 50% more than what they typically are on a given day, and those are increasing. I'll mention that we are going to. I believe you received information today on our service reduction plans for Wednesday. These plans will represent about 60% of the services that we normally provide. They will be similar to a Saturday or a holiday services with some additional peak hour service. LRT will be on 20-minute headways instead of 10-minute headways. North Star will be down to 2 trips instead of 5 trips on weekdays each way, and service will be cut on weekends. This lines up with our ridership. This addresses our operator shortage, so that we can provide more reliable service. But more importantly, it also provides us the flexibility to flood some routes where we still have some significant ridership. So that means where we have ridership that's at a level on some routes which would exceed the social distancing guidance, we can bring more services with the extra operators and buses we have to those routes so that we can spread the ridership across more buses. It also provides us the flexibility to honor ad hoc and specialized requests. I think many of you are aware that our operators transported people that were returning to the state from a Princess cruise and transported them from throughout the city and as far as St. Cloud and Duluth. We were also participated in transporting Hennepin County, a number 150 of people who rely on shelters and who are unsheltered homeless, and we transported those individuals to hotels so it could free more space for other people who needed shelter. These reductions will also allow us to provide more frequent cleaning, and it really provides flexibility that we need to have now as we get daily calls for assistance. Other changes that I'll mention that people have asked me often about why aren't we providing masks to our operators. We requested the ability to do this with the State's Incident Command, but the fact of the matter is the masks are not recommended for operators in their situation, but are desperately needed by healthcare workers on the front lines, and they're trying to conserve the N95 masks for the healthcare workers on the front line. They've asked for inventories from our agency, as they have for a number of other agencies. We also have a request in that will allow us to limit boarding to rear boarding, but as you know, that request would also mean that that our riders could not pay fares under that structure because the fares is at the front of the fare payment is at the front of the bus. So that request is in. I know I've had a number of questions about that as well. Other actions we're doing to support our operators and riders is that we relaxed attendance discipline to encourage stay at home if sick. We have a system of what's called occurrences that there's a limit to. We've lifted the counting of occurrences during this time. Bus and rail rolling stock are disinfected 3 times a week. Operators are given disinfectant to wipe their own areas during the day. We are prioritizing the uses of buses with barriers. We are transferring articulate buses to routes with the greatest ridership to encourage social distancing. We had many articulate buses on the express routes. Well, the express routes are way down, but we still have some ridership on the urban local, so we're bringing the articulate buses to the urban local routes so that we can better ask our ridership to honor social distancing requirements. We've been pounding the transit for essential use only messaging. Don't ride if you don't need to. Stay home if you can. We're reducing service. As I mentioned, by reducing service, we'll allow extra buses to supplement the busiest routes. We've added porta potties where public restrooms are no longer available for operator relief. And these are the ones that I could think of off of the top of my head, but I'm sure that there are more. So that kind of gives you an idea of where we are, and I'm available for questions.
Thank you, General Manager. Are there questions from council members? All right, if not, thank you very much, and we will move on to our first item of business. First item of business tonight is approval of the consent agenda. There are 4 items on consent. I'd entertain a motion to approve the items on consent.
So moved. This is Atlas Ingebretson.
Thank you. A motion, is there a second?
Second, Francisco Gonzalez.
Good. Any other discussion? Then, Jenna, will you call the roll for the motion to approve the items on consent?
Atlas Ingebretson.
Aye.
Barber.
Aye.
Chambliss.
Aye.
Cummings.
Aye.
Ferguson.
Aye.
Fredson.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Sterner.
Aye.
Zurin.
Aye.
And then the consent or agenda or items on consent are approved. Now we move on to our regular business items. The first business item is business item 2020-89. Same week item with Gold Line environmental decision. And is Chris Beckwith on the phone, or Beckwith?
Chair, this is Councilmember Atlas Ingebretson.
Mm-hmm.
Just, my call dropped a little while ago while Wes was giving his presentation. I'm not sure how we should maybe notify you if we're having technical issues, but I just wanted to share that in the event someone else is experiencing that issue.
Thank you for letting us know.
I was still connected. I couldn't hear anyone anymore, so I hung up and I called back and it worked.
I am going to ask. Go ahead.
For 89, I think Chelsea Johnson is presenting.
Very good. Thank you.
Hi, this is Chelsea Johnson.
Chelsea, sorry.
Great, thank you. Madam Chair and committee members, please let me know if you can hear me. I'll try to fix the situation. The item being presented today relates to the state process for environmental review for the Metro Gold Line VRT project. The Metropolitan Council is the responsible governmental unit for review of this project, and I'll refer to that as RGU a little bit. An environmental assessment and environmental assessment worksheet analyzed whether the proposed action affected environment and anticipated environmental impacts or proposed mitigation measures would result in significant impacts. As the RGU, the Council's decision is to determine if there is a need for an environmental impact statement or an EIS. The Council must order an EIS for the project if it determines the project has the potential for significant environmental effects. So I'll briefly summarize the evaluation process conducted by the FTA and the Council for Goldline. In October 2019, the EA-EAW was published for public review and comment. This document evaluated resources including land use, water resources such as wetlands and floodplains, biological resources including federally and state listed species, historic properties, visual quality, noise, acquisitions, and several other environmental resources. In deciding whether a project has the potential for significant environmental effects, agency and public comments were also considered. 35 total comments were submitted and responses documented in FTA's environmental decision document. FTA as the lead federal agency and FHWA as a cooperating agency have completed their review of the EA and EAW for the project. Both federal agencies find there are no significant impacts on the environment associated with the construction and operation of the Metro Goldline BRT project. Preparation of an EIS is not required under NEPA. The EA, EAW, and federal decision documents are available on the project website. The Council finds that an EIS is not necessary for a Metro Goldline BRT project because the project does not have the potential for significant effects, as stated in the findings of fact and conclusions in the FTA's finding of no significant impact. So in conclusion, the proposed action is that the Metropolitan Council authorize its chair to sign the findings of fact and conclusions developed through the environmental assessment and environmental assessment worksheet, that the project does not have the potential for significant environmental effects, and that an environmental impact statement is not required. Thank you, Madam Chair, committee members, and please let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from council members?
This is Councilmember Atlas Ingebretson. I have a question.
Councilmember?
I'm just curious if there's been any inquiries from the public or concerns communicated from the public related to this, or officials from local communities impacted.
Madam Chair, committee member, there have been, let's say to summarize the public comment, there have been quite a few comments in support of the project, a lot of questions in particular about the design of the project and related questions like cost, but nothing rose to the level of being substantive that required a change in our assessment or analysis, and that's a key consideration when we are preparing the environmental decision document. We did have only one update to make, and that was specific to new information regarding a threatened and endangered species, the rusty patch bumblebee, that we worked and coordinated with the Fish and Wildlife Service.
Thank you.
All right, any additional questions? All right, if not, then I would entertain a motion to approve business item number 2020-89.
This is Councilmember Sterner. I make a motion to approve the item. Chair Barbara?
There in seconds.
Motion. Very good. Any other discussion? If not, I will have Jenna call a roll for the motion to approve business item 2020-89.
Atlas Ingebretson.
Aye.
Barber.
Aye.
Chambliss.
Aye.
Cummings.
Aye.
Ferguson.
Aye.
Fredson.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Sterner,
Aye.
Zarin,
Aye.
And the business item is approved. Just a quick side note before we move on to the next business item. You'll notice under our current operations, there will be a significant number of same week items. We still will make the decision. They can now move on consent to the council, and after each business item, we'll go through that. I would say that this one can move to the consent agenda for the council meeting on Wednesday. Any questions from council members on that? All right, then we'll move on to business item 2020-95, which is also a same week item, Blue Line Enhancements Phase 2, Design and Construction Support Services. And we have Ryan Heath.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and committee members. My name is Ryan Heath. I am an associate engineer with Metro Transit's Engineering and Facilities Department. Business item 2020-95 is for contract 19P281, Blue Line Enhancements Phase 2, Design and Construction Services. Blue Line Enhancements is a phased state of good repair project on Blue Line LRT. Blue Line is now approaching 16 years old in operation, and some track work is deteriorating, and some of the signal equipment requires replacement. Phase 1 of Blue Line Enhancements was completed in downtown Minneapolis in 2018. Phase 2 is Bloomington, Mall of America Station to Humphrey Station. The scope of work is to replace the deteriorated track work and outdated signal equipment, add some elements to increase operational flexibility, and make additional updates such as enhanced rail lubrication, which will help reduce wear in the future. Construction of Phase 2 is planned to occur in two portions. The first one will be in 2022, and the second one will be in 2024. This timing is due to the anticipated completion date of the Southwest LRT project, which will require considerable time from our subject matter experts in the Rail Systems Maintenance Department. This contract, 19P281, is for design and construction support services of BLE P2 and will be 5 years long. The request for proposals for this contract was issued on October 3rd, 2019. 3 proposals were received. It was a Brooks Act procurement, which is a two-step process. The evaluation panel selected WSP USA Incorporated as the most technically qualified proposal. Following the evaluation panel selection, the negotiation panel negotiated a price of $6,426,423. The negotiation panel agreed that the final negotiated price is fair and reasonable and that WSP USA is recommended for award. The Office of Equal Opportunity set a DBE goal of 12%. OEO determined that WSP passed the DBE goal by meeting the 12% goal. The proposed action then is that the Metropolitan Council authorizes the regional administrator to award and execute contract 19P281 with WSP USA Incorporated in the amount of $6,426,423 for design and construction support services related to Blue Line Enhancements Phase 2. Thank you, Madam Chair and committee members. I am now open for questions.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions from committee members?
Yes, Councilmember Reva Chambliss.
Councilmember Chambliss.
My question is related to the lubrication costs. Do you have an idea of what those costs are, Mr. Heath?
The additional rail lubrication installation is actually a small cost. Each rail lubricator is about $50,000. However, it will lengthen the life of rail in very sharp curves that we have coming out of the Mall of America, for example, and through several other locations, and reduce future maintenance costs.
Thank you. One more question, please.
Councilmember Chambliss.
How many $50,000 implementations do you have to do?
For this particular scope of work item, the rail lubricators, we're anticipating installing 4. I would like to mention that the rail lubrication, we are taking the opportunity of this larger project to install elements such as rail lubricators. However, they are a small part of the scope of work.
Thank you.
All right, additional questions from council members? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve business item number 2020-95, same week.
This is Cummings. I move to approve.
The motion, do I have a second?
I second Francisco Gonzalez.
Very good. Any other discussion? Jenna, would you call the roll for the motion to approve business item 2020-95?
Atlas Ingebrigtsen.
Aye.
Barber.
Aye.
Chambliss.
Aye.
Cummings.
Aye.
Ferguson.
Aye.
Fredson.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Sterner.
Aye.
Zuran.
Aye.
And business item 2020-95, same week, is approved. Thank you very much. We're on to the next one, which is business item 2020-104, same week item. It's Southwest LRT Franklin Operations and Maintenance Facility Modifications Contract Award. And we have Jim Alexander.
Thank you, Madam Chair, committee members. So I'm presenting 2020-104, same week. This is Jim Alexander. I'm the project director for Southwest LRT. And the subject here is for the Franklin Operations Maintenance Facility modifications for doing some construction at that site. Back in October of 2019, we issued an invitation for bids for this work, and we received 2 bids in January of 2020. And the amounts of $38.7 for the low bid and $46 million for the second bid. And procurement did review these bids and determined they were both responsive and responsible. And LS Black Constructors was identified as the lowest bid. So this work pertains to the facility, and then there's an attachment to the business item. If you have a chance to take a look at that, it shows the image of the current facility, and on the next page it shows the modifications that are looking to be done with this contract. And so there's a couple of pieces here. The first is the expanded car and wash bay going to be expanded to handle a 3-car consist to come through and get cleaned all at once. Currently, operations can only clean 1 vehicle at a time, and so this will enhance operations. That piece will be funded through Metropolitan, and I'll talk about that in a moment. The remaining items are the expanded maintenance overhaul area to the north, and modified north yard, and a new rail control center, and a new traction power substation at the north end of the facility. Those elements will be funded through the project. And purpose we're doing this is we're essentially going to be housing 27 vehicles that we're purchasing from Siemens for the Southwest LRT project. They'll be housed at this location, and so we need to do some modifications to accommodate that additional fleet. And so we've been working very closely with operations on both the timing and the scope of this. So just the little background on the funding that we have geared up. We have $3 million of that total low bid amount of 38.7 would be funded through Metro Transit, with the remainder would be funded through the project. And we are looking for a letter of no prejudice from the FTA. We have that request into them and hoping to hear from them anytime soon. But this action would be contingent upon getting that receipt of the LONP from the FTA, and also there's an action that the county, Hennepin County, will have to make as well. And so in terms of the DBE, the low bidder did meet the goal of 15% for this contract that was returned by Office of Equal Opportunity. And also another piece that the contract includes commitments to make good faith efforts toward meeting workforce goals of 32% for people of color and 20% for women in participation in the construction contract. So, Madam Chair, that's the business item that I have before. Just looking for the council to authorize the regional administrator to award and execute the Franklin Operations and Maintenance Facility Modifications Contract for the Southwest LRT project to LS Black Constructors in the amount not to exceed $38.65 million. The action is contingent upon receipt of the letter no prejudice from the FTA and approval of the LMP work from Hennepin County. And I'll take any questions.
Very good. Thank you, Jim. Any questions from council members?
This is Councilmember Atlas Ingebretson. Not a question, but just want to say thank you for including the different types of DBE and workplace goals.
Thank you. Any other
council members? You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments from council members? All right, then if not, I'd entertain a motion to approve business item 2020-104, same week.
Moved by Cummings.
The motion is
seconded by Atlas Ingebretson.
Very good. Any other discussion? Jenna, if you could call the roll for the approval of business item 2020-104, same week.
Atlas Ingebretson.
Aye.
Barber.
Aye.
Chambliss.
Aye.
Cummings.
Aye.
Ferguson.
Aye.
Fredson.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Sterner.
Aye.
Zurin.
Aye.
And the motion is approved, and the item can move on consent to the full council. I did not note that on the prior business item, 2020-95, same week, but that also can move consent to the full council. We're on to the next business item, which is business item 2020-105, same week, Orange Line's BRT stations contract. We have Derek Ruby.
Hi, Madam Chair and committee members. As mentioned, my name is Derek Ruby, a principal engineer within Engineering and Facilities, and I'm here today to present business item 2020-105, same week, for the Orange Line Station Construction Award. Some of you may recall earlier this month I was at Committee of the Whole to talk about all things Orange Line, and today I'm here to present the third of 3 construction packages that we plan to award for this project. There was an attachment to the agenda that shows the few slides of the construction and stations, and our goal is to, with this business item, get that out for award, authorize the regional administrator to award it, and get going on construction yet this year. So on January 24th of 2020, there was an invitation for bids sent out for the construction of these stations. These stations will be utilized throughout our region from Burnsville to downtown Minneapolis with real-time sign technology, plantings, shelter construction, as well as other miscellaneous utility installation. We opened bids on February 27th of 2020. 3 bids were received. The low bid was provided by Morcon Construction in the amount of $15,911,493. The Office of Equal Opportunity assigned a 15% DBE goal, and they also evaluated the bids and proved that Morcon did meet the goal and requirements of the project. Procurement also did review the bids and determined the low bid was fair and reasonable. So in front of you today, the proposed action is that the Metropolitan Council authorize the award and execution of a construction contract with Morcon Construction in the amount of $15,911,493 for the construction of Orange Line BRT stations. With that, I'll stand for questions.
Thank you, Derek. Any questions from council members? Okay, if not, I'd entertain a motion to approve business item number 2020-105, same week.
Madam Chair, I would like to approve this. This is Councilmember Sterner to make a motion to approve the item.
All right, we have a motion. Is there a second? Was there a second?
Atlas Ingerbretson seconds.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Then Jenna, could you call a roll to the motion to approve business item number 2020-105, same week?
Atlas Ingerbretson.
Aye.
Barber.
Aye.
Chambliss.
Aye.
Cummings.
Aye.
Ferguson.
Aye.
Fredson.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Sterner.
Aye.
Zurin.
Aye.
Okay, then business item 2020-105, same week, is approved and can move on consent to the full council. We're on our last business item. Business item 2020-112, same week item. It's a joint powers agreement with Metro Transit PD and Minnesota BCA. We have that's Leah Palmer or Brooke Blakey.
Madam Chair, I am on the line.
All right. Which one of you is going to present the item?
Oh, I am. Madam
All right,
Chair.
go ahead.
Sorry. Madam
That's
Chair,
all right.
council members, I'm presenting the subject matter of a joint powers agreement with Metro Transit Police Department and Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. I'm asking that the council authorize a joint power agreement between the Metro Transit Police Department and the Minnesota BCA Criminal Apprehension for the purposes of a partnership on the Minnesota Human Trafficking Investigators Task Force. This task force was formed under Minnesota state statute, and it is an agreement to engage in necessary parties to work together to investigate and prosecute human trafficking and sexual exploitation of children as part of the Minnesota Human Trafficking Investigators Task Force. That's it.
There you go. Any questions from council members?
This is Francisco Gonzalez. I have a question, Madam Chair.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Thank you. I was wondering, as part of this agreement with the BCA, whether there are protections for our stakeholders and our passengers regarding being asked about their immigration status, and if so, whether the BCA can have access to or to any information regarding an individual's immigration status from the Metro Police. So are we sharing that information with BCA? Is that confidential? And any other information about this that you can have? Thank you.
Madam Chair, Chairperson Gonzalez, that is protected information that we would not be sharing, and the purpose of this task force is for known traffickers and those that are being exploited, and so the rules that would protect those individuals are in place.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional questions from council members? All right. If not, I would entertain a motion to approve business item 2020-112, a same week item.
Chambliss, motion to approve.
A motion to approve. Is there a second?
Turner, second.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, Jenna, could you call the roll for approval of business item 2020-112, same week?
Atlas Ingerbretson. Atlas
Aye.
Ingerbretson. Barber.
Aye.
Chambliss.
Aye.
Cummings.
Aye.
Ferguson.
Aye.
Fredson.
Aye.
Gonzalez.
Aye.
Sterner.
Aye.
Zurin.
Aye.
With that, we have approval of business item 2020-112, same week, which can proceed on consent to the full council. With that, that ends our business for today. I did want to say thank you to all of the council members for being very adaptable and working with this today. I think this was a first trial run for this style of meeting, so your cooperation is very much appreciated. I would also like to thank specifically Jenna and Greg, who helped get everything coordinated for us to do this meeting this way today. So your assistance is very much appreciated. And with that, we are adjourned. Thank you all. Have a good day.